Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to talk about what I do when I bring a plant home for the first time from the nursery or when I buy a plant online. So the first thing that I always check for is pests. And I know we're supposed to quarantine the plant for a couple weeks, make sure there's no issues with the plant in terms of pests before putting it with the rest of our collection. But the reality is I don't really have enough room to quarantine my plants, and especially I don't have areas where I have enough light to keep that plant alive while it's being quarantined. So the way I kind of offset that is I try to buy from local reputable breeders that I'm always buying from. Now, this is not foolproof by any means, but I really haven't had too many issues yet, knock on wood. Of course, I'll still do a pest check and I'll spray everything down with a mixture of neem oil and peppermint, Castile soap, and basically cross my fingers and I'll check it every couple days just to make sure there's no issues. But so far, so good. But the other two things I want to talk about are root health and the familiarity of the soil medium or whatever medium the plant comes in when I first take the plant home. So the first thing that I care about the most is the root health of the plant when I take it home. That's going to be my determining factor as to whether or not I'm going to repot that plant right away or let it sit for a while. So you can see in this clip here that this plant is ramen noodles galore, right? It needs a repot basically. And if you look at the leaves, they look pretty good until you look at the underside of the leaves, which you'll see in just a minute. And you'll see that there's some edema issues, right? That leaf doesn't look really good. That leaf right there from the top part, you can see it's starting to yellow. So there is also this plant, which I brought home also 2 days ago. Same with the previous plant. And I'm going to show you the roots here. And you can see this plant, there's some roots and it looks healthy, but there's really no reason to repot this plant right now, right? Because the roots it's not very root bound. It's still got lots of room to grow. The other thing about this plant or this soil medium right here is that I know what kind of soil medium it is, and because I buy plants from this nursery all the time, so I know what kind of stuff they're using, and so I'm familiar with the water retention of that medium, and I feel comfortable continuing to grow this plant in there until it needs a repot. Right, so in this case, I'm not going to be in a rush to repot her. I'm going to probably just let her sit in ambient humidity or whatever I can provide for her. And I'm going to try to give her as much sunlight as I can to continue to promote root growth. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to let her acclimate to my house. I'm not going to repot her until probably spring comes along, or if by some miracle she happens to grow roots like crazy and needs a repot. But other than that, I'm just going to let it sit there and just let her do her thing. Now, if I buy a plant, I bring it home and I realize that I'm not familiar with the medium that it's grown in, or I don't even know what it is, I will probably repot that plant almost right away. So let's talk about that next. The idea of giving the plant an acclimation period when you bring the plant home before repotting or doing anything with that, right? 100% sound advice, but am I impatient? And 9 times out of 10, I will try to or want to repot that plant right away as soon as I get it home. Yes. And I just want to talk about my thoughts on repotting the plant either in a new medium or the medium of your choice, or to upsize the pot. So when I'm repotting, what I'm really thinking about is what kind of environment and light conditions can be provided to this plant in the weeks following the repot, right? I think the biggest issue that I ran into historically where the plant has developed root rot or I've had issues is when I repot the plant and I don't realize that, I'm in the Midwest and that plant depends on only light from the window and we don't get sunlight for 2 or 3 weeks, right? If I don't get sunlight for those 2 or 3 weeks, that plant has a really difficult time acclimating to its new medium or to the upsize of the pot. Because light, from my experience, is super, super, super important for the uptake of water and root growth. So those are the main times where my plants have developed root rot or have had serious issues after a repot. Again, regardless of acclimation time, is when the conditions are not right and it's not able to acclimate to the new pot very well. So maybe that's the same concept that people tell us about acclimating your plants before giving a repot. I'm not sure, but that's how I think about it. I think about what is best for the root system if I put it in a new medium or if I give it a larger pot. And sometimes if I notice that the root ball is too small for the pot that it came in anyway, I'll actually go ahead and downsize the pot to accommodate the root ball better so that I decrease the risk of having root rot, right? And that would be another perfect opportunity to go ahead and give it a new medium. So that's another thing I'll do. So basically, if I feel confident that I'm able to provide it with enough light and humidity right after a repot, I will take that plant home and I will go ahead and almost repot it right away without an acclimation period. And this is just my personal thoughts and experience, but I think growing a robust root system is the most important thing once taking a plant home, because the better the root system, I think the less finicky that plant is going to be about changes in conditions. Right, so again, that's just what I have found with my plants. I don't even care if the plant has new growth, but I really monitor to make sure that the plant continues to have good root growth, because then I think it's pretty established in my house once that starts happening. So this is my Monstera mint the next day that I just repotted in this video, and you can see that the edema issues has pretty much gone away almost completely, and as I'm recording this, it's already been a couple days and I can say that there's really no more edema issues on those leaves. And you can see here in the Midwest we continue to have more snow and rain for the next couple days since my repot, so I am putting her under a grow light for the foreseeable future until we get more sun in the Midwest here again. And that's basically she's just leeching off the grow light in my greenhouse IKEA cabinet. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on acclimating a plant when I first take it home. Thank you for joining and listening, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.